There are significant changes with the maintenance process as a result of selected adoption. PeopleSoft changed the way that we deliver maintenance, and that's for the better. That results in changes in the way you maintain your PeopleSoft applications. In some cases, you've been maintaining applications with processes that have been in place for many years. But with these changes we provide, there are a lot of new opportunities. I'm going to cover some suggested best practices or recommendations for working with the new delivery model. Actually, some of these are best practices, some are suggestions, and others are just terminology. But they will all combine to give you a better experience. The areas that I'm going to cover are, first, what a PeopleSoft update image is and the best way to work with it. Next, the difference between an update and an upgrade. What are the environments a customer should maintain and what are they used for? PeopleSoft Release Patchset, that's a useful delivery mechanism to get maintenance to a customer outside the normal update image delivery. What's the best suggested way to apply a PRP? There are special rules for applying language updates. I'll review what they are. Suggested guidelines for applying maintenance and features. Dependencies, they play a big role in maintenance, and I think it's important that everyone understand what they are and how they work. I'll describe what dependency is, why we do them, and how they're calculated. So the next time you apply a bug, and when you see it in the PeopleSoft Update Manager that it brings along several other bugs, you'll know why. And finally, how to maintain your system when your systems are running a different version of PeopleTools than is running in the PeopleSoft Update instance. Going through and understanding each of these items will give you a better idea of how best to manage the lifecycle process in your environment. Finally, I'll let you know about some of the additional resources you can use to help you with selected adoption. First, we'll start off discussing working with the PeopleSoft Update image. The first thing you need to know about a PeopleSoft Update image is what they are and where to find them. PeopleSoft Update images are found on My Oracle Support. The easiest way to find one is to start on the PeopleSoft Update Manager homepage on My Oracle Support and follow the link for your pillar. The doc ID for the PeopleSoft Update Manager is 164.1843.2. Of course, you can always find a link at PeopleSoft's information portal, www.peoplesoftinfo.com. Or for that matter, you can find pretty much anything at peoplesoftinfo.com. An update image is a fully operational running PeopleSoft system that runs as a virtual instance in Oracle's VirtualBox. It has a database, middle tier, which is the app server and web server, and it also has complete copies of all supported versions of PeopleTools as well as lifecycle utilities like Change Assistant. The update image found on My Oracle Support is the most current version of an application. We have a new way of referring to PeopleSoft version numbers. Technically, each PeopleSoft update image is a new version. When we refer to one, we call them 9.2 Pi, which refers to the letters PI that stand for PeopleSoft Update Image, and then the version number, which is written as a 3-digit number but referred to as just the number. So HCM version 9.2 Update Image 009 is referred to simply as HCM Pi 9. Now each pillar has the same release numbering, so there's a Pi 9 for HCM, FSCM, and so on. Remember, releases are cumulative, so Pi 10 includes everything in Pi 9, plus anything new that was added in Pi 10. In most cases, it will also be running the most current version of PeopleTools, but since tools versions are released outside of update images, there might be a newer release or patch of PeopleTools that's not in the image. Once an image is up and running in your environment, it can be used for many things. First and foremost, it can be used to search for and find maintenance and new features to apply to your system. In the PeopleSoft application running the image, you'll find PeopleSoft Update Manager PIA pages. This is where maintenance and new features are searched for and selected. Everything selected goes into a change package definition that can be used by Change Assistant to apply the changes to your environment. Above and beyond that, there are other important things you can do with the images. Since the version is the latest version of the application, it's a great way to look at and evaluate new features. For example, if an application delivers a new pivot grid or a new work center or some fluid content, you can check it out and give it some hands-on testing before you decide to deploy it. Another great use is prototyping. These environments are easy to create and work with, so if you want to do some prototyping, you can do it in a secure environment without impacting regular maintenance. It's a great thing for like pivot grids that are new and built with configuration data. Many customers are starting to use PeopleSoft Update images for training environments. A perfect example of that is with the new Fluid UI. Fluid is the new adaptive user interface that can be used on mobile devices as well as desktop systems. Learning to develop with Fluid UI will take time. Developers can use an update image instead of installing the latest version of App Designer and learning it in that environment. If your environment is on 8.5.3, it's a great way to get an 8.5.4 system to start learning. And finally, since the latest version, it's useful to replicate incidents to see if there are problems that can be recreated in the latest version of PeopleSoft. Now, there are limits that you need to know about. First, COBOL is not compiled, and there is no COBOL license. To get COBOL running in this environment, you must compile it with a valid COBOL license. Second, this is an English-only instance that runs with the Oracle database. If an incident you are trying to recreate is language or database dependent, it may not be possible. And third, keep in mind that both bug, that's maintenance, regulatory changes, new enhancements, are all delivered in the update image. Finally, the images are cumulative. I mentioned that before. There's no versioning of any of the changes, so what is included in the complete current system is what is in the image. As far as working with the images, there are a few things that will be helpful to you. Download new images when they're available. If you already started working with an existing image and created a change package definition, then you should stick with that image until changes are migrated to production. But as soon as you are ready, download the new version. Since the images are cumulative, there's really no reason to keep old copies around. You'll notice that there are no old versions available on My Oracle support. We do that to keep you working with the most current version at all times. When downloading the images, follow the instructions in using the PeopleSoft VirtualBox images found on My Oracle support. This gives information on how to download the files, how to create the VirtualBox, and some important settings in the virtual instance. Settings that will let you keep the virtual images private or share them in your network, and also how to boot and run the PeopleSoft system the first time. There's also some free training videos that can be found on PeopleSoft Update Manager homepage that go through the download, install, and configuration image and more. PeopleSoft Update images are a valuable resource you can take advantage of. Remember, at any time, you have available the latest version of an application without the overhead of going to the systems team to create a new environment. As I mentioned before, the release numbering has changed. This is not really a best practice, just some help with terminology. We now call our PeopleSoft Update images 9.2, pi, and then a number. So 9.2, pi, 9, 9.2, pi, 10, and so on. For shorthand, we leave off the release number 9.2, so you'll hear us discuss update images as pi 9 or pi 10. To differentiate pillars, we prefix with the pillars such as HCM pi 9 or CRM pi 6. When it comes to a versioning you're running, it's not quite as clear. Technically, if you upgrade to 9.2, you are on the current product line and you are considered current, regardless of the amount of maintenance you've applied or the features you've adopted. The reason is that maintenance and features are selective. So once on the 9.2 base, you're on the current release and can be considered to have applied some level of maintenance. If you take some maintenance from an update image, say 10, pi 10, that doesn't mean you are on image 10. It means that you're on 9.2 and you have applied some maintenance, some of it being from pi 10. There's one additional thing to add. If you choose the option Apply Maintenance Not Yet Installed from the PeopleSoft Update Manager PIA pages, then you could be said to be on 9.2 and current with an image, say pi 9. It's a bit confusing, but the bottom line is, once you're on 9.2, you're on the current release and have applied some set of maintenance. Now we're going to move on to the differences between update and upgrades. Updates and upgrades are two different processes and should be thought of differently. An upgrade is a major release. It involves moving from an older version of PeopleSoft, such as 9.1, and upgrading to 9.2. An update is applying maintenance or new features to an existing 9.2 application. So first, let's talk about the upgrade process. The starting point for an upgrade is a certified upgrade source image, or a source database downloaded from Oracle Software Delivery Cloud. It's important to note that not every PeopleSoft update image is a certified upgrade source image. The upgrade source images have upgrade scripts that are capable of migrating older data structures to 9.2. Using a non-certified upgrade image will result in problems that have to be manually corrected. Upgrade source images can be installed and used as the source database during the upgrade. They're identical to the source database you would traditionally download from Oracle Software Delivery Cloud. you can still download the source database from OSDC and proceed with your upgrade. The process for an upgrade is, first, upgrade to the upgrade source image on the latest application release that's certified. We're certifying upgrades to higher levels of 9.2 through update images, which allows you to complete an upgrade to 9.2 and get some of the maintenance and features that have been released through the certified update image. For example, an upgrade to 9.2 through the update image 11 will get you to FSCM 9.2 and will include all maintenance and features released through Pi 11. When that's done, you'll have a 9.2 system with all your customizations. Just a note, as part of the upgrade, we recommend that you review customizations and limit them when possible. Once you've upgraded to 9.2, whatever the update image is you used, the next step is to get current from the PeopleSoft Update Manager using the latest available PeopleSoft Update image. This will bring forward all the changes from the time the upgrade was certified to when the latest update image was made available. Think of this in two-step processes. First an upgrade, then an update. Selecting Apply Updates Not Yet Applied when creating the change package will pull all the fixes and features out of the image and create a change package definition that gets you current. Of course, since PeopleSoft Update Manager lets you select maintenance to apply, it would be possible to pick and choose fixes and features to apply instead of doing a Get Me Current. This is a new release, and since the processes will be thoroughly tested, it's generally considered a best practice to get current with an update image as a start point. A couple of important points about this. The application delivers a certified upgrade path at different intervals. There's a new certified upgrade source image for FSCM. There might not be one for HCM. Refer to your application's upgrade homepage for the latest certified path. Once you're on 9.2, all maintenance is through updates, not upgrades. Once the application is PUM enabled, all changes to the system from PeopleSoft are considered updates. PUM enabled means the application gets all maintenance from update images. All 9.2 applications are PUM enabled, and the Interaction Hub on 9.1 is as well. The process is to use the latest update image to search and select maintenance and new features to apply to your system. Both the what to apply and when to apply it are at your discretion and will be continuously performed through the life of the product. There are best practices and recommendations that we can provide. The general rule of thumb is the longer you go without applying maintenance, the more difficult it will be when you need to apply maintenance or take a new feature. And that makes sense. Not applying maintenance will result in more dependencies, which in turn will result in a more difficult update. Since choosing what and when you want to take is your choice, there are different maintenance strategies. There's a passive strategy to leave the system alone until you're forced to take maintenance for a critical bug or a legislative change or a new feature that you want to adopt. Those who choose this path may find that when they go to apply maintenance, it's a very difficult process. A more practical approach is to be more active about taking maintenance. Scheduling maintenance throughout the year will have two benefits. First, your system will always be in a state where you can more easily apply required maintenance or adopt new features. And second, you'll have the benefit of running the latest version of the software with the least number of defects. You can think of it this way. Maintaining a system is similar to maintaining a car or maintaining a garden. If you never change the oil, you'll end up with costly engine repairs. If you never take care of your garden, you'll end up having major costs pulling weeds and trimming bushes. It's the same principle. It's a good idea to regularly apply critical maintenance throughout the year and stay as current as possible on standard maintenance. We recommend to get current on an update image approximately every 2 years. A good way to keep current is to stagger a product area so you're not doing everything at once. That will keep the projects as reasonable size. If there is a part of the system that you don't use, you don't have to maintain it. Again, it's important to remember the longer you go without applying maintenance, the more difficult it will be when you do. Next is an important topic, and that is what environment should be maintained. What environment should be maintained is a question that comes up quite a bit. Now that we deliver a fully patched functional update image, how does that impact the environments you need to maintain? You may have heard or read in the past the suggestion of using the update image as the demo environment. Is that still the case? Well, let's dig into it. Our recommendation is for you to have available 5 PeopleSoft environments for each product you run. First is the PeopleSoft Update image. We've talked a lot about what that is. You should download new versions when available and keep it around until the next available version is posted. Since the update images are cumulative, it's not necessary to keep old versions. In fact, there's never really a good reason to use an old update image. Dev, test, and prod environments should be maintained the way they've always been. Dev is the environment where the initial change package is applied and where customizations are made. From Dev, changes are migrated to a test environment for regression testing. Typically, there's a bit of back and forth between the two. Finally, changes are propagated to the production system. It's common for Dev and test to have copies of production data with sensitive fields masked for security reasons. We also recommend keeping a demo environment. The demo environment does not have any customizations. It consists only of the base 9.2 system with all maintenance and features from PeopleSoft that have been applied to production. It's essentially the production system with no customizations. You create it by taking a generic copy of the upgrade source image or the source database at upgrade time. You then keep it current by applying the same change package that's applied to the dev environment. But remember, it wants to match the maintenance in your production system, so don't apply the change package until you update prod. In the end, there are two different PeopleSoft-only environments. One that's fully patched and current, and the second that is only maintenance and features that you have applied in your system. What are the benefits of keeping all these systems? Keeping these environments up and available makes it easier to find the source of a bug. When you come across a bug, it can be in PeopleSoft core product, it could be the result of a customization, or it could be from not taking enough maintenance from PeopleSoft. Not taking enough maintenance is a new condition as a result of the selective adoption process. Having 5 environments available will help you track down the incident to the source. So here's the scenario. If you run across a bug in production, you can do the following. You can try to reproduce the bug in demo. If you can't reproduce it in demo, then chances are the problem is with the customization. If the bug is replicated in demo, but not in the update image, the chances are the bug has been fixed and delivered by PeopleSoft, but you have not applied the solution to your system. You should be able to go back to the update image, create a change package that addresses the bug. If the bug can be reproduced in the update image, then it's most likely a PeopleSoft bug and an SR should be opened. Having those environments available for testing and using them to their full extent is very valuable. Just a note for replicating errors, we recommend using a copy of the update image that's different than the image used to apply maintenance. That way, any replication environment prep doesn't impact the maintenance environment. Now we will cover how to apply a PeopleSoft Release Patchset, or a PRP. A PeopleSoft Release Patchset is a system fix that's delivered outside of a PeopleSoft update image. They're used to deliver critical fixes to you in between update images. A PRP should not be applied directly to your system. That's important. The reason is there may be dependencies for objects that are delivered in the PRP that need to be applied in your environment prior to the PRP. With selective adoption, the source system may be in a state where partial maintenance has been applied, and in order to successfully apply a PRP, additional dependencies must be brought in. There's a simple standard way to do this. It's done by letting the dependencies be calculated with the latest update image. Actually, the image to use will be in the instructions for the PRP, but will most likely be the latest. The process then is, first, apply the PRP to the most current update image. That's done by using the Update Manager action, Apply Downloaded Individual Posting to PeopleSoft Image. Once that is done, the image is ready and can be used to select the update and apply it to your system, the way you would apply any maintenance. Proof of concepts are different. They are usually created just for you and should be applied directly to your environment and are considered to be done outside the standard PeopleSoft maintenance. Therefore, it's best to think of them as a customization. A couple of thoughts about applying language updates. The application running in the update image is always English, but you can use it to apply language updates. Language updates are delivered as files and are either included in the update image or in a subsequent update image. This has the benefit of allowing customers to apply critical program fixes in the base language and adding non-critical language components in a later release. There is a search option in the PeopleSoft Update Manager PIA application to add the multilingual updates to your system based on the languages in the target environment. When you first configure the update image, it will automatically load the required languages based on the language selection in the target environment. You can use the PeopleSoft Update Manager PIA application to search for and catch up on multilingual updates that should be applied in your environment. Now, you must have a different update image for each system that you support. Now we'll discuss the guidelines for applying maintenance and features. The recommended process to apply maintenance and adopt new features is the same. First, you should have the environments that were mentioned earlier, that's the dev, test, prod, and demo, ready and available. You should download the latest image from Oracle support and have it deployed on a PC that has access to your network. For instructions on how to do this, please look in the Using the PeopleSoft VirtualBox Images document on my Oracle support. That document describes how to download, install, and configure an update image. There'll be some steps that you have to follow properly to configure the VM and download correct versions of PeopleTools. Once that's complete, you're ready to go. As of 8.5.4, configuring Environment Management Framework is an optional step. It used to be an error if it was not set up and configured, but now it's possible to run the entire maintenance process without it. You have the choice to set it up or not. By configuring it, it will help distribute files to appropriate locations. Configure Change Assistant using current download update image as the source image and your dev environment as the target. The maintenance history will be synchronized from the target to the source to prepare the PeopleSoft Update Manager to be used. The maintenance history is going to tell the update image the maintenance that you've applied to your system. That will help drive the Update Manager PIA pages and assist you with searching for new maintenance. When configuring Change Assistant, you'll need to configure the proper PeopleTools environments correctly. There's more information about that later in the session. Use the PeopleSoft Update Manager PIA application to select maintenance and create a change package definition. There are a number of different ways to search for maintenance, such as by bug number or by object name. Browse around the pages to get familiar with them and choose the option that's best for you. A couple of things about this. It's possible for multiple users to be using the system at the same time. That could potentially create overlapping change package definitions. That could result in a bug ending up in multiple change packages. It's best to take measures to prevent that from happening. Once you're finished with the online application, a change package definition is created and ready to go. Use Change Assistant to continue the process. Use the Change Assistant initial pass to apply the updates to the dev environment. The same change package should be used later in the process to apply changes to the demo environment. That will be done when you complete the testing and propagate changes to production. That way, all changes from PeopleSoft that end up in production are in the demo environment. Once the changes to get into dev, you can retrofit customizations and make sure they still function. When you've finished with all the customization retrofit in the dev environment, use Change Assistant Upgrade Compare process to create a modified version of the change package from dev that includes new maintenance and your customizations. This will be used to migrate changes and customizations to the test environment. You'll use the test environment to perform the test application of the new change package using dev as the source and test as the target. Once these changes are in, regression testing can begin. Testing is a very large part of the process. Some estimate it to be as much as 80% of the time spent on an update. For best results, we recommend using an automated testing tool such as PeopleSoft Test Framework. Use the same change package that was created for the test environment and apply that to production. At this time, the initial change package should also be applied to the demo environment to keep that in sync with the changes in production. Dependencies are a very misunderstood part of the new selective adoption maintenance process, so I'll go over them in detail. The concept of dependencies is pretty simple. If more than one bug changes the same PeopleTools object, such as a record or PeopleCode program or a page or component, then the two bugs are dependent on each other. If two bugs are dependent on each other, you must apply both bugs in order to get one of them to work. Add to that the fact that a single bug could be fixed by changing several PeopleTools objects, and you can see how dependencies can expand rapidly. The second thing that's important is that there is no version control in the delivered images. We don't have a copy of what the system looked like for image 10 or Pi 11 or Pi 12. Therefore, dependencies work in two directions. There are prereq dependencies, or dependencies on bugs that were in the system prior to the bug that you chose was added, and post-req dependencies, or dependencies that are introduced in later releases. So prereq and post-req dependencies really have to do with the time fixes are added to the system. Anytime a bug is selected to be applied, we ask the system two questions. First, give me all the bugs that I'm dependent on, and second, give me all the bugs that are dependent on me. For each of the bugs that's returned, we go through that same process. So think of this as being a recursive process, but there's a slight exception. Any bug that shows up in the list as having already been applied is pulled out. No additional dependencies are necessary. And there are other small optimizations, which is to minimize the post-req calculation, but I won't go into the details. The important thing to understand is that there are dependencies. Each bug you apply will have pre- and post-req dependencies, and the result of filling out the dependency list may have some surprising results. Now let's look at an interesting scenario. Each time a new update image is released, there's the potential for additional post-req dependencies. It could be that a bug in Pi9 returned a dependency list of 25 bugs, but in the next image that's released, even though the original bug was not changed, it now returns a dependency list of 35 bugs. That would be because the post-req dependency list has increased. That's one of the reasons why we always recommend that you use the most current update image to apply maintenance. It will always return the most current dependency list. It's also the reason why it's not possible to return to the old images after using a new version of an update image. Now let's talk about PeopleTools releases. A couple things about PeopleTools. First, it's important that your environment is running a supported version of tools. If your tools version is out of support, the update process might not work. A quick review of the tools support policy is that a version of PeopleTools is supported for 12 months after the next version is released, and then an additional 12 months for critical errors. That's known as the next release plus 12 plus 12. It's very likely that the release of PeopleTools that you're using is different than the release of the PeopleTools in the update image. For example, you may be on release 8.5.3 of PeopleTools while the current update image is running PeopleTools 8.5.4. But don't worry, that's okay and it's expected. To compound the problem, each tools release will have a number of PeopleTools patches. So even if you are on the same PeopleTools release as the update image, you could be on a different patch. Remember, PeopleSoft is constantly fixing issues with PeopleTools, and some of the issues that are fixed may have to do with the update process. Instead of requiring you to upgrade or patch your tools version in order to apply maintenance, PeopleSoft delivers complete tools versions in the update image that's used exclusively for the maintenance process. When you're configuring Change Assistant, make sure you use the version of PeopleTools that was delivered in the update image rather than using your local version. That will ensure that you are using the latest version that's been certified to run the update process properly. So for example, if your application is on Tools 8.5.3, then use the PeopleTools 8.5.3 version that's included in the update image. Similarly, if your application is on 8.5.4, use the 8.5.4 version that's delivered in the image. Knowing how tools releases are used and pointing to the proper tools version is an important step that can make your updates go smoothly without requiring tools version or patch upgrades. I want to make sure that you know all the resources that you can access, so I'll go over them. Documentation for selective adoption is found in the PeopleTools 8.5.4 online help under Change Assistant and Update Manager. Consult the PeopleSoft Update Manager homepage. This is the central location for all things related to PeopleSoft Update Manager and PeopleSoft Update Images. Here you can find information about selective adoption, update image homepages, troubleshooting links, best practices, and more. We have a 3-part series on getting started with your PeopleSoft upgrade out on the Oracle Learning Library that you can listen to at any time. The PeopleSoft Lifecycle Management Release 8.5.3 training will teach you to manage customizations, apply application updates, and upgrade a PeopleSoft application. You'll use the necessary tools to accomplish these tasks, including Application Designer's upgrade features, Data Mover, Data Migration Workbench, and Change Assistant. The PeopleSoft Update Manager training covers all of the tasks required to set up and use PeopleSoft Update Manager methodology for applying update maintenance to your PeopleSoft 9.2 and above applications. You'll learn how to perform each task from installing the Oracle VirtualBox to applying the updates to all your PeopleSoft environments, as well as upgrading PeopleTools and applying PeopleTools patches. The Lifecycle Management and PeopleSoft Update Manager Accelerated Release 854 combines the 6 days of training from the Lifecycle Management course and the PeopleSoft Update Manager course into 5 days.